Welcome back, everyone. Today, I wanted to drop right into the news. There's so much going on with crypto. There's so many different things that are happening right now that I just want to set some of the records straight on what's really going on and why things are happening right now. There's a lawsuit again from the SEC against Coinbase. There's another lawsuit from the SEC against Binance. They're not the same thing though. SEC and there's issues, there's activity by Robinhood, all different things that are happening. Crypto.com took action. All these stories are floating out there, and they're trying to do it en masse, just like a whole bunch of you throwing it all at once to you so that you're confused and just stay away from crypto. I want to give a little bit of perspective here right now that most of the world uses, a lot of the world is interested in crypto, okay, beyond the US borders. But the only ones that care about what the SEC or the CFTC or Gary Gensler or Janet Yellen or any of those people the only ones that care about that live in the United States. Okay. Outside of the United States, there's plenty of people that are involved in crypto. There's plenty of people that need it more. El Salvador was the test case, and that people don't understand that before El Salvador adopted Bitcoin as their national currency about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now, their currency that they chose was the US dollar. They got away from the dollar to find a better solution. Think about that process, okay? A couple of years ago, probably 3-4 years ago, you're in El Salvador, you're running the government, and you're thinking, man, this inflation's killing us, and we're using this dollar, and they keep printing more back in the States, and we're not getting any benefit of it. The whole 2020 shutdown caused impacts. What are we going to do? Well, they started investigating other currency opportunities and things that they could use besides the dollar, and they decided to do an experiment with Bitcoin. Well, that led to Bitcoin Beach. That led to a lot more adoption, and now the country not only has much better standing now, they've paid off all their international debts. The IMF loans that they had to take out back in the days of 60s, 70s, 80s, where we sent three-letter agencies, I say the United States, the U.S. government sent in representatives to try to improve their infrastructure by pitching them on take out this big loan for infrastructure so that you're indebted to us in terms of US dollars. And if you've read the book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman, which is a pseudo documentary or pseudo biographical book, he changed the names, protect the innocent, and so on. But basically, the story is the same: is that it was John something, I can't remember his last name, but John went and he was a representative to all these countries. He went to Asia and South America and helped these countries, or so he thought, was helping these countries to improve their standing, improve their economic outlook for their country. But what they did was indebted them they made them an active participant in the dollar financial system. And that system that is now imploding started to impact all these other countries. And that's why that led to, since I studied crypto, I started getting more and more into crypto back in 2015, 2016, when I started getting started. I learned about Bitcoin, I learned about the different projects, but then in the last several years, I started to see the impact in the use case. Like, why do people need crypto? Why do people need this as a solution? Well, there are lots of people outside the United States that don't have bank accounts. In El Salvador, it costs $100. The average income is $100 a month, and it costs $50 to have a bank account a month. So most people don't have bank accounts. So not only do they not have bank accounts, which leads to an all-cash system for finances, the vendors, the shop owners, they don't have card swipers because no one has cards. So everybody's involved in a cash system now. And with cash eroding and inflation that they were suffering so greatly in El Salvador, they went to a different system, which led to other countries visiting El Salvador and learning about, hey, this other currency seems to be working much better for us, and we don't have to worry so much about the inflation. Maybe we should look into it, which led to Central African Republic, which now has led to Indonesia and other countries adopting Bitcoin as maybe not their primary currency, but as legal tender and a viable solution. So that's why, with all the news in the United States, I know I went to a big circle there, but with all the news that's going on in the United States about all these exchanges and all these different cards that are no longer working and all these bank accounts that are no longer working because they are choking people out through Choke Point 2.0. They can't regulate Bitcoin. They can't regulate cash. But what they can regulate are banks. And you need a bank for these cards to work or these exchanges to work so that you can exchange fiat currency, the dollars, for something else. And then it's even harder to get that that cryptocurrency out of that exchange into your wallet. So all these things all these walls are being thrown up. So to prevent you from getting into crypto, and all this news and all this fear, uncertainty, and doubt that they're putting out there, just saying, hey, stay away from crypto. It's volatile. All these false narratives that are easily disprovable. And I've done hundreds of videos about that stuff, and I'm happy to do more if you like. But the arguments that are just out there are just outlandish. Okay. The volatility of Bitcoin price, for example, the price of anything is a ratio of the item and what it's priced in. So if what it's priced in is volatile, then that adds to the volatility. But as noted in, I think it was Zero Hedge put out a story last year that, and I can find it if you guys want it, but I'll try and find it and put in the links. But the Dow actually has more volatility right now than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's pretty much been stuck in that channel between 20 and 30 grand for the last 6 months, it seems. So the volatility of Bitcoin is not there. Also, volatility kind of goes away when a market gets bigger. Bitcoin's still relatively small compared to the stock market or even gold. So these false narratives are just, they're just going to kill people in the United States, because they're going to fear getting out of the currency system. They're going to fear getting away from dollar bills in exchange for silver or gold or Bitcoin. And this has been money for thousands of years. But now we're in a digital age, and you need something digital. That's where Bitcoin solved that problem. But it doesn't solve every problem. You have to, again, look at the use case. The use case is so important. If I'm going to hand somebody, if I'm going to buy, I don't know, a watch or food or whatever, handing them a piece of silver because it's a local transaction is quite often much more beneficial and a better transaction right now than for me to having to convince them or to educate them on Bitcoin and say, I'll give you Bitcoin instead. Now, if we're in a world where people understand that, or if you're doing an exchange with somebody who understands crypto, by all means, you could sell it for Bitcoin, buy it with Bitcoin, all those different things. That's always a possibility, but you have to educate people to understand that this system, this is a debt system. This will never get better. National debt will never get paid off, because these are debt instruments and they just print more. There's no limit to how much of this they can make. It's garbage. Okay. This is not garbage. Silver, I just, if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. But like this right now, in 2022, the numbers were roughly 1 billion ounces of silver were either mined or recycled. I think it was like 80% mined. The demand was 1.25 billion. So that was 25% larger than the supply. And that continues and that's why central banks are stacking up gold. I've covered a lot of different things here, but I always want to cover that Bitcoin, gold, and silver, those are the long-term answers. And there'll probably be a short-term answer soon too, because these things, and I got another one here that I'm not going to pick it up on the floor, but these things are going away sooner than you think. And this is going to be worth this. It's going to be worth this very, very fast. And then you're going to be finding these all over the street, just littering as if you're in Venezuela or Greece. So a lot said today. I'm going to have a lot more crypto information, a lot more news this week, a lot more to cover both here and on Economic Preppers. So follow me on both. But for now, I'm going to close the drawer in the bureau, say follow leader, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.